Hi guys. So it is Kristen here. KK has a lot to say. I haven't uploaded anything all day because quite honestly, every time I went to make a video, something happened and I had my graduation party today. Well, not my graduation party, a graduation party today. So it was a little hectic. I made a few little videos, but maybe I'll post them at a different time. I hope I can get through this without any distraction. And a major disclaimer, the thumbnail that I'm gonna put in this video is of a woman who I'm gonna speak about. I want you to know that she does have a gun in her hand. The gun was not, it does appear as though it was pointed towards her head. It was not. I'm not sure if the gun was loaded. She pointed it towards a crowd and it was not shot. So I just want everybody to know that right off the jump. No, I do not have this person's permission to use her picture. However, she was arrested. So it has become public knowledge, news, whatever you want to call it. So I am going to use it for this video to just kind of give a glimpse of what happened today. So there is no secret that our world, and let me just start by saying this. When I started this channel, I did say that I was going to talk about a lot more topics than just my addiction and domestic violence, because I feel that my addiction and domestic violence and the abuse that I've been through mentally, physically, financially, what have you, does not define me as a person. There is so much more that I have to offer to this world. It is a huge focus, however, because I found that in watching YouTube for so many years, that the sobriety community, or the community of people who help each other through withdrawals and tapering and talking about different substances, has been more helpful to me than any support group I could go to, any doctor I've ever spoken to, and definitely either of the therapists that I've ever seen. Yes, some friends have been helpful, but you know, you don't know what something feels like unless you're going through it, right? So having said that, no secret, our world is almost, it feels like it's like a race war. I go back to a course I took in college in probably 2005 or 2006 for my master's, and it was all on the 1960s, the Cold War, JFK, how things started moving towards, it not being so segregated between blacks and whites and gays and lesbians and, what have you. And I remember being so proud of my city because we had to do a final project and we had to go around and we had to find 5 different subjects to take pictures of that represented the change of times from the 60s to now. And it happened to be the month of June, and our city takes, great pride in Pride Month. We have a parade. Almost every business hangs a gay pride flag. You see lots of children, adults, older people support the community, our LGBTQ, I think A. Please, let me know in the comments below. I think they added 2 more letters to that. That means something, and I'm sorry that I don't know them off the top of my head. Please do not take that as an insult. I know that I work with youth now that are coming out earlier and earlier, and they have the support of adults and different agencies. So I was really, really proud to be able to take a picture of gay pride flags in different windows. And we have signs that I was in Rotary at one point that had a sign of our town in not every single, but 5 different languages. Maybe it was 4 on each part of the post. there was just a lot of things that I was able to take a picture of that represented the fact that we treat each other equal, and I come from a city and town that is of equality. I've went to middle school and high school, huge diversity, and I can't really say that outside of where I went to school. So the city I'm from has, as of last year, a little under 7,000 people. And if you lived in this particular city, you all went to school together. Now our county has around 60,000 people, so we are fairly small. But my school was probably the only school in the county, and I could pretty much say that with fact, that was extremely diverse. Bengali, African American, Caucasian, Latino, Latina, Asian, you name it. And it wasn't a thing, you know? No one treated anybody any differently because of their race, color, their sexual preference. And then moving forward during this course, I thought, wow, you know, the 60s it wasn't that long ago. And wow, look at how our world has changed. Look how far we've come. And of course, you know, I know that nothing's perfect, and I know there are people who are racist and prejudiced in this world, and there's nothing we're ever going to be able to do to change that. But I think for the most part, my generation, I'm Generation X. I believe Generation X and the millennials and so far and so forth. And that, not to say that people older than me don't have the same feelings and feel as though we are all equal. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just feel like really starting with my generation and moving forward, it has become a huge change in dynamics. You know, my parents grew up in those times when Black people had to sit in the back of the bus. I mean, can you imagine? It baffles me, or have to use a different bathroom. So, you know, with the tons of things that have happened in the United States and even outside of the United States, the George Floyd case is probably one of the most disgusting, vile, malicious acts I have ever witnessed. And not witnessed personally, thankfully, but via video, which I could barely get through. And if you've seen it, you would know why. To watch someone who took an oath to protect literally kill a man who was begging for his life, and it not stop there, because I think it happened again not too far from me a few months later. Thankfully, I don't believe the person died. It may be. I should have looked into that. But there's no denying it that we're hearing more and more, and I see it on YouTube all the time, that officers, particularly white officers, are treating Black men specifically differently than they would a white male or a white female. And it's also happening to Black females and, you know, anyone who's not the color of my skin. It really hurts me that my friends who are Black and are male have to be afraid if they get pulled over by the police for maybe not even doing anything wrong. I've been pulled over for a false license plate being out, and that's probably because I had Black people in my car. I don't care what anyone says. My license plate light was not out. That was a while back, but still. I don't have to worry about being thrown out of my car, keeping my hands on the wheel. There's been many times I don't even think about it. I got pulled over a few months ago and I reached right for my glove box and just to get, the natural stuff out that they want. And, they always say when you get pulled over to just keep your hands on your wheel and that be that. And I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? So today, in my small community, there was what was supposed to be, well, first, let me say how proud I am that we have our very first black mayor, who is about my age, doing big things, came into office in a crazy time, and through that time, I have never seen so much support for our youth, our community. Not to say that other mayors in the past have not done the same, but for some reason, this mayor just sticks out in so many more ways than others in the past. And I'm very proud I don't live in the city at the moment, but he's still the mayor. I consider him my mayor, regardless. So anyway, he led a peaceful protest in a prominently white community. Because like I said, right where I am, and let me explain this. So I am not New York City. I am not Buffalo when I say upstate New York. I am south of the capital by about an hour. Capital being Albany, if you don't know, which most of you, I'm sure my 14 subscribers should know. So we're small. And as they were leading this, and I don't have a lot of information, but the mayor did go live, as they were leading this peaceful protest, which we continue to do in our community, Black Lives Matter signs, and a lot of people all lives matters. All lives do matter, but until they really do all matter, then we have to focus on the ones that don't. And I was schooled because I've used that term before, all lives matter. And I had an African-American woman who I would call an associate, I really don't know her that well, kind of put me in my place about it and make me understand it. I'm glad she did that, because if their lives don't matter when they're getting pulled over, then we can't say all lives matter, because they don't yet. Say it how you will. Now, there's been things on the flip side. Like a month ago, a young male that I worked with, not me personally, but in my division, was murdered by a quote unquote, I guess, rival gang member. These young teens are in these gangs, and, we try to work with them the best we can, but you can't reach all of them. And he was murdered in cold blood. Candlelight vigil for sure, but no big outcry. I mean, we're losing our youth. I am not against guns. I grew up with guns around me. I recently actually have gotten the paperwork to apply for my pistol permit for protection, target practicing. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. And I know that sounds cliche, and I know that has been said a million times, but it is the truth. And if you know how to use it properly, and it's there to defend your life, your children's life, by all means. But not just to wave around because you have the power to do so. Or have taken an oath and put a badge on and feel that you can use it to do what you'd like because you're scared. And I get it. I'm not bashing police officers at all. I respect the police. I don't agree with the people who are, you know, disrespecting police officers right now. There's good cops, there's bad cops, there's good doctors, there's bad doctors, there's good caseworkers, there's bad caseworkers. I think I made that quite clear in one of my videos. There's good and bad people throughout this entire world. But when does it stop? When does it stop? We don't know for a fact that George was killed because he was a black man. But it seems that way. So anyway, the story at hand is during this peaceful protest, and I'm still not sure why this woman did it, who's in the thumbnail. Maybe she was racist. Maybe she was against the protest. Maybe she didn't want these people in her neighborhood. There's been comments on Facebook that she looks like a crackhead and stuff. So, I mean, there has been such nice things said about her. She pulled the gun out on a crowd of people who were making no noise, carrying signs, and walking through a public street. And she waved and pointed her gun at several people. I personally did not see children, but if they have been like any of the other ones that have been going on, there were children present. And even if there wasn't, and even if the gun wasn't loaded, why in the world did that woman feel that she needed to pull her gun or call for her gun? I guess she had called to her boyfriend for her gun. What the uproar is right now is that when she was arrested, she was walked very gently from her house to the police car. We have got to do better. We have got to make sure. I'm talking to my people. Say hi.
No, that's you.
It's me. We have to do better. We have to teach our children right from wrong. Unfortunately, black mothers and black fathers have to teach their children that cops are good, but to also be careful, and that is so sad. But we have to mainly put love in our hearts and put love in our kids' hearts and not make them see color. When they're born, they don't see color. Okay, buddy, it's because it's dark out. That's why you don't see the car, okay?
Mom, Bobby's taking you any minute.
Any minute. I'm almost done.
Bobby, go and pick him up.
Let's do better.
Let's call him, Mom. I want to call him right now.
The other phone's in there. I'll be right out.
Call him.
I didn't want to make this too long, and now I'm going to have to tend to my child. I will if you go in there for 1 second. We must do better. We must teach our children that this is not right, because our children are going to be the ones that are going to be police officers and social workers and correctional officers and detention center guards. Our children. So let's do better. Unless you have a reason to not like someone, why dislike them because of the color of their skin or the preference of who they love? I just thought I needed to come on here and say this. I can't believe it's happening in my own town. My own county of less than 60,000 people. My city with less than 7,000 people. I feel bad for the families who have to go through this. I could sit here and list a plethora of them, but you know who they are. Let's teach love, not hate, and do better. We have to do better. Our kids cannot grow up in this environment. That's what I have to say. If you disagree, I don't want any hateful comments. If you feel opposite, keep it to yourself, or keep it classy and in a way that you won't offend anyone. And let's just be nice to each other. Have a good night. Stay safe.